Hey everyone, Pupsker here. Today in Warframe, we're going over Voruna. We're going to talk about Voruna, her abilities, how to farm her, how you want to maybe build her mod setup, go over gameplay, and then of course our final thoughts and reviews around Voruna. Overall, she is a fun Warframe. It looks like she's mainly based around being a melee tank styled Warframe, jumping invisible, jumping on the enemies, and just kind of always being in the action. I know that I've shouted out and, kind of wondered how are people liking Voruna so far, and it does look like people like her overall, so that is nice. But we'll talk about the breadth of her entire kit and abilities, so no worries there. As always, if you do like the video, remember to subscribe, like, comment down below, as it always does help in the great YouTube algorithm. And you can always check out any of my other social medias like Twitch, use Epic Games creator code Pupsker, etc, all that jazz there. So first off, we'll just go over how to quickly farm Voruna for people who aren't too aware. If you didn't know, two new Lua nodes on the planet are Uvarium and Circulus. Those are the two new nodes that you will want to farm. Some of the Lua building materials also drop from there, the Luathrax Plasm. The Voruna parts on these two nodes are a C drop rotation. That means you need to run the survivals for 20 minutes, and the survival drops as an A, B, C drop rotation. If you don't know what that is, you might want to look around and find out what drop rotations in Warframe are, because they're kind of goofy. Drop rates are lower on the lower level node and higher on the higher level node, which is Circulus, so just keep that in mind. And you can also just buy the parts from Yonta on the Chrysalith, but that is with Luathrax Plasm, so you do have to, no matter what, farm the maps on Lua, and then if you maybe get bad RNG, you can just buy the parts that you don't get on the Chrysalith. That's also where you get her weapons, no surprise, the sniper 4-round burst, as well as the two-handed sword, axe, whatever you want to call it at this point. So yeah, hope that helps. Now we'll just go over her general abilities and tips so that we can see how she actually works. We can see her just right off the bat here. My god, beautiful. This is my goobery skin that I have on her, but those heads are looking pretty cool. Her passive is that she has 4 passives, and you can swap between them by holding any one of her abilities. So that tends to work pretty well. Let's go over first her ability, Shroud of Dinar. Dinar shrouds Voruna with invisibility and accelerates her speed. Invisibility ends when Voruna attacks. For a short time after a melee attack lands, melee attacks have increased crit damage and status chance, and inflict bleed. Melee kill an enemy during this time to extend the melee buff. And then the hold is Dinar guards Voruna, increasing her parkour velocity. So you can see overall not bad. I have the base stats on here just so you can see. 2 times crit multiplier, 200% speed, 100% status chance. The buff, as you can see, duration on that isn't too long. So this is the ability you're going to probably be refreshing a good chunk. But overall, you do get a huge damage boost if you're running melee. I mean, that's kind of how you run in Voruna, right? Melee tank damage. And then we go to Fangs of Raksh. Raksh fangs tear into your enemies. 5 random status effects are applied at 10 stacks each on an enemy. On target's death, spread the status effects to other nearby enemies. Not too bad. So this is just a great condition overload stats spreader all around, and the hold is also really good. It's pretty much a built-in adaptation, right? Raksh guards Voruna with status effect resistance. My god, and I believe that's just 100%, so just no status effects hit you. So this is a good status primer. That's all it's really used for, and spreader. 10 out of 10, really strong. As you can see, you'd want probably some range, duration, and, well, probably not duration, but range and strength on this one. So not bad. The passive is good too, depending on what you're doing. Now her third ability is interesting. Liketh hunts to sustain the pack. I should also mention, this is her helmet ability. Enemies killed by melee attacks drop health orbs, and enemies killed by headshots drop energy orbs. Increase the duration of Lycus Hunt by killing enemies affected by 5 or more status effects. So you hit 2, you kill enemies, you hit 2, you kill enemies, right? It's pretty simple. Her hold on this one is Lycus guards Voruna with increased heavy attack efficiency, meaning you can become a heavy attack king because it should set you up still with 100% heavy attack efficiency. So the only thing you really want to do on this one is just chill with it, get a bunch of kills and maybe some duration, but you don't really need it because it builds up to a minute max duration anyways, and you can continually build it, so not bad. Her final ability is what we kind of consider her worst, more memey ability, but we'll talk about it. Tap. Voruna drops to all fours and prepares 5 brutal charges that lock onto enemies. It's a good movement ability that way though. Ulfrun, the most powerful wolf, leads the attack as a Voruna dashes towards her target. The pack deals increased damage to targets and nearby enemies that are inflicted by status effects. Okay. Lethal attacks double the damage of Voruna's remaining charges. Hold. Ulfrun guards Voruna. If Voruna falls during this time, Ulfrun dies in her place. So just a straight up quick revive essentially, you know? One get away from death free card. The stats on it not bad, range is pretty good. The damage could be a lot higher because it's like a one hit, but you know, it's slash, damage per second, not terrible. Duration overall, not too bad. It's a good ability if you feel like messing around and using it, but overall for high level gameplay, you're probably not going to want to use it overall, and this is what most people tend to helmet off of her. But it does do decent enough damage, so hey, maybe you'll enjoy it, but that is up to you. The hold is much better being just a straight up, oh, you're dead? Never mind, lol. Get out of jail free card. It's kind of like quick thinking, right? Which works well on her as well. Anyways, tips. Each of Voruna's wolves provide a specific passive. Yeah, okay. Swap them around by holding depending on combat. Use Shroud of Dinar's invisibility to reposition Voruna before starting her deadly offense. Yep. You can use Shroud of Dinar and her abilities during it, you just can't attack because that'll take you out of Shroud of Dinar. Shroud of Dinar's melee buff is extended upon melee kill. Stalk a weak target and strike with lethal force for maximum effect. True. Fangs of Raksh can help weaken a specific target to guarantee a quick kill, which is useful for triggering Shroud of Dinar's buff. Her general abilities is like I hit 1 to be stealth, and then like 3 for the buff, and then 2 to prime an enemy, and then I attack them to go off. Or prime an enemy and then use your 4th ability and kill everyone. Shroud of Dinar's melee buff will not activate if you break invisibility using gunfire, or if your first melee attack misses. Be precise and strike true. So actually hit enemies with your melee. Makes sense. Take advantage of Fangs of Raksh status effects by equipping Voruna with weapons and mods that do more damage. Condition overload. Lycus Hunt provide ample health orbs when utilizing Voruna's vicious melee expertise. Equipped her with mods, arcanes, etc. that offer bonuses for these orbs to maximize the ability's effects. You can give her tons of health, throw on equilibrium, etc, etc, right? More precise hunters may want to choose pinpoint weapons that can easily land headshots and upgrades, mods, arcanes, that utilize orbs for buffs to maximize Lycus Hunt's energy orb production. All of Voruna's abilities can be cast while Ulfrun's Descent is active. It is true. You can cast your 4th ability, all your other abilities, and you can stay hidden in your Shroud of Dinar the entire time. So keep that in mind. Attacks using Ulfrun's Descent do not break the stealth provided by Shroud of Dinar. It is true. You can use your Shroud of Dinar, stay hidden while using your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th ability, but once you shoot or melee, you jump out of that. So that is a good way to stay alive and kill some enemies. Recasting Ulfrun's Descent to cancel the ability early will provide a partial energy refund. So I hope that helps. Let's go on to her general build. This is the build that I'm using for her. Adaptation can be swapped around for whatever type of defensive stuff you feel like using. You can 100% use quick thinking on her, really good. Drains energy to stop lethal damage with efficiency, right? You can use rolling guard, adaptation. I myself also have the umbral set since I'm always running with health, and you know, armor makes sense, extra strength too. It just makes sense, right? So throw on whatever defensive one you want there. I'm using a lot of the time her 4th as a passive, so that's why I have adaptation on. I don't want to die, but hey, things happen. You can throw on whatever you feel like. Equilibrium, constantly killing enemies, constantly getting energy and health back because of her third ability. So probably everyone will just run Equilibrium on her because they drop so much that it's just worth it, right? I have Stretch and Augur Reach because I do want more range. I don't need more efficiency, but hey. And then Prime Continuity. I want to say you don't need any duration if you really don't feel like it, so you could probably ditch Prime Continuity, but I wanted a little bit of duration on for like my first ability, and some of my other stuff makes like my third one easier. I don't have to worry about hitting it instantly, and it upgrades my fourth, so hey, Prime Continuity can stay, but you can probably drop that if you feel like it. So honestly, all of this working pretty well for now. Arcane Energize I have on there just for now because I just don't really have a ton of arcanes. You'd want something more like Arcane Avenger or Arcane Primary Charger or maybe Arcane Blade Charger. Arcane Fury could work really well too. There's a lot of different arcanes you want to throw on, and I have Molt augmented on as well, just so that I can have some more strength later on. But I need to get on my arcanes because they're still lowly levels and not upgraded too well. And then I have Steel Charge on, no 2-shock, just so I can do some more melee damage. Hopefully that makes sense. You can really swap on and throw on a lot of different things depending on how you feel like playing. So, hey, keep that in mind. You can really do whatever you want. You can stay hidden the whole time and just use your 1, 2, 3, 4 ability suite if it's low enough level and just kill everyone. You could throw on some gladiator mods if you want to buff your melee too. You can really just do whatever you feel like. As long as you're using your abilities and keeping up, you're probably fine. But yeah, this is my general mod setup. Let me know what you think, what you use, etc, etc. But this is one of the general setups you'll see of whenever I'm playing the game. But I do swap around adaptations for stuff like rolling guard, stuff like quick thinking. And you can make her more defensive, less defensive. Yeah, it's really up to you. But this is the build I generally have right now, and I'm having fun with it. An Umbra Voruna build. My god. What a time to be alive. So the general gameplay of Voruna is simple. You're just killing everything with melee, and maybe if you need some more energy or you kind of messed up something, right? Maybe you're quickly headshotting an enemy, but for the most part, just with how Voruna's kit works, you're probably just going to be using her as a melee frame because she doesn't make any sense as anything other than a melee frame slash like tank frame, right? Because you're a melee frame with some inherent tanky abilities like your third and your second, your passives, right? Your first, which invisibilities you. You have some generic tankiness and good passives that help support that. So the idea is simple. You can cast your first ability and have your third active the entire time just if you've built it up. While in your first ability, you can jump on enemies using your second ability so that they stack up a bunch of stats, or you can hit your second ability 2-3 times so it can stack up even more status effects. From there, you can go into your fourth ability, jump on enemies the entire time. You'll still be stealthed. You can jump between enemy to enemy, attacking them with your fourth ability, and you will stay stealth the entire time. She's great at just being stealth if you feel like using her kit. You could stay stealth the entire time using her abilities, but then once you start attacking, shooting, meleeing, that's when you'll break out of your stealth. You'll do a bunch of crit damage, a lot of damage in general. You'll get some health, you'll get some energy, and you'll just be attacking all of the enemies, right? So that's kind of how I see her kit. Rinse, repeat, right? You're stealthed, you use your entire suite of abilities, and then you just unload melee onto them. Maybe you're getting low on health, maybe they popped your fourth ability, maybe your stuff's just running out, you don't have a ton of energy, etc, etc. I don't know, but you can just hide in your first ability, regenerate a little bit, and then maybe jump around if you have energy with your fourth ability to try to get more kills. So there's a lot of ways you can play her. You don't have to use your fourth ability at all. You can be a generic Gloom user and destroy everything because, oh dear God, with Gloom, her kit will just be ridiculous. Or you can throw on any other type of ability, buffs, etc. Any type of ability, I would say, works pretty well with her kit. Maybe you want to build up some CC on her fourth ability so that you can very quickly get all of the enemies killed in one melee strike, or like one big hit. Just saying, there's a lot of like cool things around her. If you swap out one of her abilities though on the helmet, you also lose the passive on that, so that's kind of important to remember. So yeah, her 4 having a built-in condition overload essentially means that he always, well, Voruna, sorry, she always wants to just have the second ability proccing a ton of elements on the enemies, ton of statuses, right? And you'll just constantly do damage like that. So she's a condition overload melee built frame without a doubt. My final thoughts on Voruna are that she's just generally a good frame. Maybe she won't make it to like the highest of levels with her build. Maybe you'll have to do some shenanigans to make her like a level 9999 Warframe, but I don't think any of that like truly matters at all in Warframe. It's more of just a for fun memery type thing. But her general kit works pretty well together if you like playing it. It's just a lot of people aren't going to like her 4th ability because it's like the weakest of them all. It's not quite as good, and people don't like using active kill abilities that can't like one-shot without a doubt all of the time. So it's not too surprising. Like her 4th ability is not even that bad. It's just not high level viable, right? It is what it is. This is Warframe, right? But it's still definitely usable. So people I've noticed in Warframe have become overly critical and cynical. Generally, that's kind of just how the gaming sphere is and how I think Warframe is after 9 years, because people are depressed or mad or angry, etc. Things D has done in the past, future, present, and it just keeps showing up more and more no matter what. So I think a lot of that is happening with Voruna, so I feel kind of bad. The Steinax hate was more deserved when they just nerfed him, but less at the same time. I don't know. It's all kind of goofy. The nice thing about Voruna is that her kit's pretty good, she works well within melee, and a lot of people do seem to like her, so hey, all for that. I do appreciate everyone watching this video. It's been fun playing around Voruna. Feel free to catch my streams on YouTube or Twitch, whether I'm streaming Warframe, Fortnite, Digital Extremes games, as they'll eventually start having more games, you know, Genshin Impact, what have you. I do appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, you can always subscribe, like, comment, as the YouTube algorithm gods always appreciate that. You can check out all my other social medias, such as like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, what have you, right? And you can also join the YouTube membership down below if you want to get some little pupper emotes. Costs like a couple bucks a month at the lowest level if you want to support the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.